make and it won't.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 34, 35 pounds.
What are you thinking of reaching here?
They need a tune. He just wants it to go running decent so he can sell it.
So there you guys go. This is the black SRT.
I think right now the highest we've gone is like 25 pounds. Like, I mean, this car has been, it's been tuned. There's just, the fresh setup is now, we're just literally breaking it in and make sure everything works before Jason comes to grab it and take it home, and then we're gonna hit the track with it.
Octane is this?
X98.
Oh, okay.
We normally don't run that fuel. We normally run ethanol 1X or whatever it is. But there's none available, and I would either have to drive to Tampa to go to induction or the track. And I was like, fuck that. So they had this local, even though this is more money, but I just
dirty right now, but it's gonna make power, you guys. 660. Well, we just did 30 right there?
Yeah, 30 pounds.
Not bad.
Yeah, the problem with this is like an old, let me say it again, old 35R.
Turbo.
Yeah,
Like, I was gonna say.
Like, dude, Fred Flintstone had this shit on his car.
It's a dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean, it's that old. I mean, we had Turbo Bay put in some billet wheels and yada, 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 but last time we had it on the dyno, after like 3,000 RPM, the boost controller is just off. It's like, make what you can make and it won't.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 34, 35 pounds.
What are you thinking of reaching here?
I'm gonna put the boost controller back to where it was and see what happens. Horsepower with 3 pounds of boost.
So they went from 660 to 696. 3 more pounds of boost. That's 36 more horsepower than they did last time with only 3 pounds of boost. That's nuts.
I just want to crack 700 and I'm done.
Little difference.
She made the boost. She made the boost, but
36 pounds. Yeah, you're gonna let it cool down for a little bit. round two?
Yeah, one more and that's it.
One more?
Right now, we're actually going to turn the car back down. I'm going to put it down maybe to 25 pounds, and 25 pounds should make low 600s, high 5s, maybe a little less, and let him get used to the car. We're going to go to the track just to get him comfortable. You know, like I was explaining to him, like this car is the car. What the hell is that? Oh, that's a Fisker. Never mind. So yeah, the car is on the same tune where it went the 9. So right now we're just gonna drop it down, let him get used to the car, so that this doesn't happen again. And as he gets comfortable in the car, then I'll turn the car back up,
Right.
and let him, you know, make a good pass. But the car should have, with the way that it's set up, it should have a mid 9-second pass in it. It's a very simple setup. It's got old school frontal 4-speed dog box in it that at the showdown he thought he had broken it, but he didn't. So what actually had happened was he money shifted it, and for people that don't know what money shifting is, when you go 1, 2, back into 1 instead of third. And we call it money shifting because it ends up costing you money.
Yeah.
So he ended up like, the impact was so hard that it loosened all the flywheel bolts, which then you heard the clutch chattering around. So he thought it was the transmission, but it wasn't. And he also ended up spinning a few rod bearings and whatnot. So this car back in the day had electromotive on it, which is a different ECU that people used to use back in the day.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's some old school stuff, but it was spliced in, so I unsoldered and soldered a bunch of stuff to make it work. But I really want to put a better harness in here. That's one thing, and then a new turbo is the next thing.
And you said 10-to-1 ratio, right?
It's 10.5 to 1 compression.
10.5.
So it's got it's the modern performance, technically all motor pistons. It's got a Crowder H-beam rod in it, stock crank billet, oil pump gear, billet tone wheel. Her local machine shop ported ahead, valve springs, retainers. It's got the DCR beehive springs in it. We actually had a little problem with those because he's got these huge crane cams on it. Then I ended up making him the custom Honda radiator with custom catch cans. It's all welded into one piece to the radiator.
Yeah.
So like you literally unplug the fan, take the 2 lines out, and everything slides out.
Lifts up out
so
of
that
place.
you're not, if you have to work on it, it's really simple to just yank everything out instead of having to.
And I remember seeing him at the showdown. He had everything torn apart. The engine slanted down, the transmission taken apart.
I had to help him with some tools to pull the gear
Gear
stack
set out,
out, even though I had told him I didn't think that was the case. But, you know.
Yeah. Of course, I think he
It's one
wanted
of
to
those
get back
things-
on the track.
Well, we were trying to get him going. You know, at that day it was like James from Diablo Sport, he had an issue with an axle, then he had an issue, so we were like trying to help each other out. Try to just listen, when we went out there it was just for fun, right? Nobody is racing anybody. The prizes were cool, but it wasn't like any big money that it was like a big difference, you know? The car came, we did everything. I went to the track with it, went the 9-second pass, then Jason broke it again. And now we're back together, ready to go again.
He has just an HKS.
Yeah, a lot of stuff on this thing is really, really old, man. Like, yeah, I would really want to put a tile on it just to hold more power.
Which intake?
That's a DCR intake manifold.
Oh, all right. That's his old one.
Yeah, I mean, again, this thing was things that he had for years and years and years.
Oh, of course.
So then he had like this old school fuel system in here. I think it actually was like a 255 feeding a surge tank, which then fed 2 044 fuel pumps, then wide together.
And what do you got now on this?
All the way up. So now what I did was I sumped the tank and I put a MagnaFuel 750 in it with all PTFE lines, so all the lines are brand new.
Yeah, that's different. That's the stuff you showed me.
Yeah, that's all the stuff that you need to run the 85. So instead of being rubber on the inside, it's plastic or nylon, really.
Yeah.
So it just makes it so that we don't have to worry about a fuel system anymore. He's got that pump is good for over 1,000 horsepower on ethanol, so you know he'll be straight for whatever he needs to do to this car if he ever wants to upgrade. But
he just touched 700, so
yeah, I mean, and honestly, if we were to put a better efficient turbo on that thing and probably a better blow-off valve, that I would.
Looks like my old Garrett, the one
I would venture to say that blow-off valve at high boost starts leaking.
Oh, of course. That's why I don't like HKS. That's why I got.
But it's what he's got, and it works. You know,
yeah.
It's not ideal, but we'll make it happen.
Mm-hmm. And he's running stock charge pipe, huh? Modified.
It's a modified stock charge pipe. Yeah, it's
that's pretty good for 35 pounds.
Yeah, because here's the bigger thing. So like. This turbo was originally like AGP turbo kit off an AGP, even though it's got a tubular manifold now. It has the little neck down to go down to the 2 1/4 for the factory pipe. Mm-hmm. You know, like, so I would like to see like a nice 64, 66 on here or some equivalent to it. But of course, you know, like a 64, 66 is $2,000. You know, then a couple $100 on a blow-off valve, which is not that big of a deal really, but. And then, you know, but when you consider that, doing a turbo, doing a new wiring harness, new blow-off valve, you know, you got $3,000 in already, you know. As we all know, things get expensive.
Yeah, they do.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe.